Here's the one big lesson for Donald Trump in the Senate's shutdown vote. CNNPolitics. Yes, both votes won on Trump's proposal to temporarily extend DACA provisions in exchange for $5.7 billion for building the border wall. The other, a Democratic proposal to simply reopen the government for a brief period to negotiate on border funding, failed to get the 60 votes they needed to advance to a final vote. But not all failures are equal. Which is the key point. Only one Democrat, 6 senators openly defied the Republican President of the United States despite the fact, and this is important, they knew that the Democratic bill was going to get 60 votes. There was never any